Hello, my name is Brittany, and I have a problem. What might this problem be? Well, it's a problem that a majority of Americans actually face. So I'm not alone in this struggle. It's a problem that can affect your physical well being, it can affect your emotional well being, just kind of impacts you all around in many aspects. It can be derived from many different factors. Many different things can cause this. What might this problem be that I'm speaking of? Well, the problem is stress. Stress is something that I would say almost everyone encounters on a day-to-day basis, whether it be, minimal or it could be more severe, depending on, your life situation and whatever things you may be dealing with. The American Institute of Stress estimates that 77% of people in the US regularly experience physical symptoms of stress, and 73% of Americans experience the psychological effects of stress. So, what might these symptoms be? Initially, when you think of stress, you only think of the psychological impact that it will have on you. Feelings of being overwhelmed, or feelings of depression, feelings of anger. These can kind of result from being overwhelmed and not knowing how to handle all the stress that comes with day-to-day life, whether it be finances or your home life, your work, school. These are all things that can have impacts on your levels of stress. Personally, I have a very busy life. I have a almost 4-month-old. I have a 9-year-old. There's lots of day-to-day stress involved with being a parent. And then on top of that, working full-time, 40 hours a week. And then on top of that, going to school. All of this can kind of pile up and overwhelm you. Personally, I experience both psychological and physical effects of stress. I started getting headaches very bad on a day-to-day basis, and they were debilitating headaches. I went to the doctor, and one of the first questions she asked me was, how's your emotional health? How's your stress level? And we kind of came to the conclusion that my stress was causing my headaches. Some other physical side effects from stress, according to the Mayo Clinic, can be high blood pressure, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, of course, headaches. All of these are side effects that aren't normally thought of when you think about stress, and they can obviously have a huge impact on your life. Some other psychological impacts could be lack of motivation, irritability, depression, withdrawal, anger. And these are all things that can, severely impact your day-to-day life. So not only are you dealing with the stress of life, but then on top of that, you have, these other side effects that come along with it. And if left untreated, it can kind of spiral out of control. This can be a huge problem for any person. So I would say that the most important thing here in this scenario would be to kind of step back and take a look at what is causing your stress. Are they things that are out of your control? In this case, that you have to realize that things that are out of your control, you just can't stress about it. You have to realize that, stressing about it is not going to change the situation. And I think that is, that's one of my main problems, is trying to realize what is out of my control. Once I take a step back and take a look at these things and say, I have no control over this. I need to realize that and try not to worry about these things. Another way is to kind of organize and prioritize your thoughts, organize and prioritize, things in your life. You can even, physically write it down and take a look at what is bothering you, what is stressing you out the most, and tackle these things individually. So just kind of being able to manage your stress in that way, can have a pretty big impact on the levels of your stress. Another way is relaxation and meditation. I do yoga now. I started doing that, on a weekly basis, and that's helped me significantly. I do that first thing in the morning to get my thoughts together, kind of stretch, relax, compose myself, and it helps me to get through the day. And kind of relaxes all of my overwhelming thoughts of, I have to do this and that and this and that, all the stuff that I have to do throughout the day to kind of keep my symptoms under control. So in conclusion, I would say that, stress is not something that's completely avoidable. We have to all admit that. It's not something that we can just get rid of, at the drop of a hat. But if you are able to recognize it and recognize your symptoms and realize that, this is something that you can help, you can decrease the problems that you're having. I think that once you're able to do that and kind of get it under control, then it's definitely a manageable problem. So yes, I have a problem. I have it managed. And I hope that anyone else that's going through the same thing as me would be able to do the same as far as controlling the symptoms.